calling it a revelation, somewhat of a misnomer, as there is nothing new to be shown. The flat earth terrarium is all there ever has been. Better then to refer to a rebalancing or correcting of a mental framework built up through the miseducation system on the modern religion of scientism. This process cannot be fully understood without knowing how it all started with 15th century heliocentrism. Over the centuries, by buying into one story, the public demonstrate that others may be introduced that really do affect health and ecosystems, as with the climate change fraud or germ theory. Governments now have carte blanche to rip up the countryside, inject people, lock them down, interfere with farming practices. The indoctrination and fear comes first, and the reaction audited before the next stage of the One World Order agenda implemented. For example, start talking about human rights and equality in the years coming up to hyper-immigration post-2022. The myth of technology as the solution to get off planet is today evoked to save it, not planting trees or stopping the chemtrailing, but wind farms, solar panels, and soulless Chinese 21st century cities built like circuit boards. The ley lines over the plain where once were beautiful stone temples and pyramids, overridden with harmful artificial energy and radiation. As soon as one problem is solved, a new one can be made up, holding the people in thrall with things that have never existed: atom bombs, meteorites, melting ice caps, aliens, or super clever broken loose artificial intelligence. Back in the 50s, the aim was to build up Western society, fill it full of hopes and aspirations, as well as competing with the USSR, who pretended to put up the first ever satellite, Sputnik 1, 1957. It looks ridiculous, just a metal ball on 4 long legs. Followed up with Sputnik 2, a metal cone-shaped capsule in which they placed a hapless dog. Today it's a phase of destruction and manufacturing political division, of which the stage trickery and CGI used are the same, with as many glitches and inconsistencies, being put to practice with a resurgence of assassinations. Donald Trump's cringe, cheese, raised fist with blood splat moment, and Charlie Kirk. Trump's ear grows back. Charlie is quickly bundled into the back of a 4x4, off to the desert island. The emotions engendered by the death of a leader at the hands of the enemy is one of the most powerful narratives, and to believe you actually saw it happen on live TV or in a packed auditorium usually works to override a calm appraisal of the situation. How impossible such an assassination would be to pull off. How it fits in perfectly with the political goals of the moment. The demonstrations. It doesn't matter which ideology these figureheads are associated with, since they are all liars and actors, working together behind the scenes. Flat Earth aids in the debunking of a linear history hypothesis on what happened on Earth millions of years ago, based on little evidence. The continuous veering away from the sacred texts and common sense towards New Age self-help nonsense. Heliocentrism and evolution contradict the Bible, so really can be considered the beginnings of the takeover of whatever Christianity used to represent pre-say 1500 by the Vatican and offshoots. Original teachings, moral codes and ways of worship more easily replaced with tax-collecting priests who supported, nay instigated, colonialism with all its atrocities. In the early 1950s, C.S. Lewis publishes The Chronicles of Narnia, the second word often meaning an annal or recording of real events. There are similarities to Middle-earth. He studied with Tolkien at Oxford, both members of the Inklings Literary Society, a droll pun, just the sort of privileged circles whereby these writers may have been privy to real information that could never, however, be revealed to the adult public directly, but via children's fiction. In fact, 5 years earlier, 1946, Lewis had put out a space trilogy. We can only guess whether he was intentionally pushing NASA's universe, or, more likely, victim to it himself. The books describe journeys to Mars and other planets. It is a strange juxtaposition to what many consider the traditional, even Christian symbols within Narnia, but perhaps this tells something of lay preacher Lewis's own character in the context of the time. In the third book, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, it is found that Narnia is similar to the flat earth, in that the landmass is completely surrounded by water, with many mysterious islands. The large relative's house on this side of reality, in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, is reminiscent of Tartaria Old World. The group of children, often symbolizing an open or inquiring spirit, emerge through furs and clothes worn by their ancestors in a closet, a portal in said house, into the snowy tundra center region. There's even a street lamp there for the pole star marking the spot. It is really no surprise that the first person encountered is a gate, self-appointed Snow Queen, patrolling on her sled of reindeer. She instantly shows a desire to psychologically manipulate Edmund, the first one through the wardrobe, using his greed and a free gift for the senses, a box of Turkish delights, to get him on board her vehicle, which means servitude. People are not free to explore these ice regions, and no way of survival there. A more recent rehashing of the fight between good and evil in a realm, Pullman's Dark Materials trilogy, 1995. Woke and very badly written, copies were churned out in the millions, also made into a BBC TV series. However, as with Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code, you're getting a lot of truths about who controls the earth on the spiritual level. They go into cosmology, mind control, and human trafficking. Sensitive topics, introduced in the way of predictive programming using a few purposefully forgettable authors and directors.